You know those situations where someone was right about something and they always say, like, I don't need to say I told you so, you learned your lesson, I'll be the bigger man here and not say I told you so? That's just such a load of dog shit. I'm 5'6", I'm not that big a man, so here's me saying I told you so. About like 6 months ago, maybe even longer, on stream, I went on a massive tirade about how the majority of those primitive building YouTube channels were fake, and I pulled up multiple videos to try and prove my point, and I was met with nothing but vitriol. People were calling me stupid, calling me wrong, calling me dumb idiot brain, like all kinds of insults about me not being right. Despite my evidence being pretty much irrefutable, I thought people just wanted to live in their delusion that their favorite primitive building YouTube channel was legitimate, but they're not. And a YouTuber named SunnyV2 posted a massive video that's done extremely well that most people have seen by now, which vindicates me, proving that the channels that I'm talking about were fake. There's only a couple real ones, the biggest being Primitive Technology, which I always said was real. It's the only real one that I know of, but I'm assuming there's others that I just haven't looked into enough. But the majority of them, the very popular ones, are fake. Primitive Technology Idea, Mr. Tifu, like all of these massive ones that sprout up out of nowhere, get 500 million views. They have like all of these crazy intricate things like water slides with giant giraffes and crocodile statues in there looking like a fucking mini golf course that they apparently make out of sticks and stones. All of those are fake. Obviously. But no one wanted to believe me when I was trying to prove it, and now that Sunny's made a video on it, now everybody knows that they're fake. And people have apologized to me in Twitch chat for not believing me, and I accept your apology, but still, I told you so. Now let's go through the video and go through the evidence a little bit and get a little more in depth on it. Have you seen the video debunking those primitive building videos? I actually still haven't seen Sunny's video on it yet, but I also debunked those videos on stream, and I was met like I was trying to teach teriology. No one believed me. I tried debunking it on stream because I was telling people that most of them, almost all of them, are fake, and nobody fucking believed me until SunnyV2 posted his video on it. Now I've been vindicated. But yeah, I still haven't seen his video yet. He came out with real evidence and explanation. Man, suck the dirtiest part of my ass. I came at you with, voice crack, with real evidence and explanation, but you guys didn't want to hear it at the time. I brought up like 3 different videos showing the aftermath of primitive building videos where someone bought like 10 acres of property and there was like multiple locations where they made those like underground primitive swimming pools and shit, and you could actually see construction equipment, tire tracks and all of that. And you guys were like, no, those are just naturally occurring jungle tire tracks. Like, I came at you with evidence and you still didn't believe me.
Almost every single primitive building channel is underpinned by countless different lies, and we've got tons of evidence to prove it.
Goddamn right we do.
Now, we need to put an emphasis on the fact that this is a 500 million views per video. Users.
That channel name is so shameless, Mr. Tifu. Is it supposed to like capitalize off Tifu being a popular YouTuber in the algorithm? I'm actually not super familiar with this one. Was that the idea behind it?
Users continue to mention one name over and over, crediting him as legitimate amongst the sea of phonies. Primitive Technology.
Yep.
The 10.4 million subscriber channel, which is when going back to the beginning of these silent, relaxing videos, it becomes pretty obvious as to why they're credited.
If Sunny plays the same videos I played in my evidence, I'm gonna be tight.
Primitive Technology cuts no corners and shows how each stage of the construction is legit.
Yeah, Primitive Technology is real. Again, this follows the same format as everything else on the internet. Someone comes out, does something super impressive, legitimately, and a lot of other people will try and do it as quickly as possible to cut as many corners as possible to try and capitalize off it. It happens everywhere, so it's not like it's surprising that it happened with Primitive Technology. But yeah, he's legitimate. 100%.
Or blue.
And it's a weird blue colour. Why is it so blue? Probably because they're probably putting dye in or something. There's no reason for it to look so blue like that.
Are they really creating these structures out of mud and sticks? Well, when you do a little bit of research, the answer to this question is most certainly no. The best evidence for this is found when
I mentioned this as well. In all of these videos making these elaborate, luxurious pools in the ground here out of nothing but sticks and elbow grease, they have like the bluest water of all time. And they're supposed to be getting this water from like nearby rivers or springs that they bring back to their location using like hollowed out logs and making a network out of that. But that's just a bunch of fucking baloney. So in the rest of the video, you'll see the cameraman even mentions that they just bring water themselves and put it there. And in another video that I brought up on stream, also mentioned in Sunny's video, it's mentioned that the water that's at those pools isn't even close by. They don't actually use logs or anything. There's even like PVC piping and stuff in order to help with it. But that is just absolutely not even close to being real in any sense.
Frame that in an 8-foot deep trench. Now, if they're digging this deep with sticks, how are they avoiding large rocks and potential tree roots from, you know, the massive line of trees seen just behind them? Are they being assisted by large machinery? Well, we'll get to
they're
that
just
in a
very
little bit,
strong.
but first, let's focus on the clip where a guy in a white t-shirt can be seen working on a project in the background. Yet, if
No, that's just their cameraman. He's also using sticks over there in order to whittle out just a little stubborn branch is all.
as the video would suggest. It is a large operation, as you may suspect, with a large team
I'm
behind
shocked.
it. After he then offered to answer any questions we had about their channel, we attempted to figure out how many different construction sites before capturing over 8 minutes of footage with a drone. We'll refer to
So you guys believe it when he puts this in his video? I pulled this exact fucking thing up in my rant on these things being fake. But now that he puts it in his video, you guys believe him? That is actually hurtful. That actually hurts my fucking feelings.
There's initially a clip where 8 different workers can be seen standing around a rectangular hole in the jungle, followed by another grainier clip from a far distance where somewhere between 7 and 10 people can be seen building a swimming pool.
So to further explain this clip, which is something I've talked about at length, a YouTube channel named Photo Expression flew a drone around an area where a lot of these primitive builds took place. A lot of pools and structures like that. And he saw a lot of the aftermath, which is just a ton of trash everywhere, cement bags, tire tracks, as well as pointing out inconsistencies such as the amount of people that'll get like to work on these. So as you just saw, like teams of 7 to 10 in some cases, maybe even more. The cameraman even mentions that there's never really less than a dozen people working on a build. And this photo expression video just shows a lot of it and giving you a lot of insight into where the builds are taking place and how they're being done.
Is when you compare his meticulous method of creating fire in the wild to the fire making of these Southeast Asian primitive channels. As mentioned previously, it becomes comical. They slap a couple of rocks together before beginning an explosive
Well, they just have
fire on
better
large logs
rocks.
with no kindling whatsoever. John Winnon draws a big circle and begins to dig it out. Only in the next frame, suddenly there's spray paint on the ground that they forgot to rub out. Additionally, on the wall of the hole, these long smooth cuts can be seen, which are completely incomparable to the cuts being made by the stick.
No, he's using a
there's
bigger stick
reason
for those,
this. Turns out spray
obviously.
paint marks weren't the only thing that they forgot to rub out, as in the minutes that
Tire
follow,
tracks.
excavator tracks can be seen here,
Yep.
here, and here.
So now you guys believe these are real tire tracks? Interesting. Weird. You guys just think I'm some kind of big fucking bumbling idiot who doesn't know what fucking excavator tracks look like.
However, was that they forgot to take the actual excavator out of the top right-hand corner. According to the email sent to us by the
I didn't
cameraman
even-
on one of these channels,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I pulled up that same video and even I didn't notice the actual excavator was there. Yeah, well, you know, I hit more times than I missed in my evidence. But that would have been a really compelling piece for me, I think, I'm not gonna lie.
the initial boring process, whilst incrementally we film the builders doing superficial works on the
I
whole.
would have never
The video
imagined
in
it
which
was
the excavator
this
can be seen in
big of
plain
an
sight,
industry,
then
though.
goes on to strangely display the collection of concrete from a river, which is the exact same clip reused from the previous video. Now, why would they reuse the same clip twice in 2 different videos? Well, it's because collecting concrete from a river is completely and utterly bogus. Concrete doesn't grow in a river, according to a civil engineer who had commented on one of these.
I will fully admit, I never really stopped to think about the gathering of concrete. To my stupid little reptile brain, I assumed that you could get something that resembled concrete using river minerals and dirt and mud and shit. I never realized how outrageous that was until Sunny V2's video on it, so I think that would have been a strong point for me to have made, but I was too stupid to make it, so I'm glad Sunny shed light on that, because it absolutely slipped by me. And I think it's important to note that even though it is clearly confirmed these are all fake except primitive technology and maybe a couple others, it's not going to affect them. People are still going to watch even knowing that because they just watch it for that comfort feeling like, oh, this is so satisfying. Oh, look at how cool that giraffe in the pool is. So it's not exactly going to hurt them, but it's at least nice that people will now finally know for sure that this shit is fake. and stop trying to pretend that it's not. The WWE of primitive building. Yeah, honestly, at this point, I would go like full-blown showmanship here and just make it really entertaining. They should have storylines where like there's a rival builder or like an evil construction man who comes by and tries to like tear their house down or something that they have to fight. Like, get
One
real
of these
wild with
channels
it.
has their own unique
Lean
method for
into it.
creating natural concrete. This channel's concrete is simply a mix of dirt and water, which, if you think about it for 2 seconds, doesn't create concrete and rather creates muddy water, or mud, which is just dirt after the water dries. This other channel
That's all
gets
we
a little
need.
bit more creative with it. Expression had stumbled upon various completed primitive builds, also showed that after these channels are finished building, the sites are simply left to rot. This video doesn't speak for every Southeast Asian primitive building channel, but in this particular case, rubbish was left everywhere, including, as you might guess, cement bags. The fact that the videos are fake isn't were attached together then used to siphon water from a river to the pool, only there was no river. Photo Expression found the exact site of this pool, then stated in his video that in reality, the closest water source was more than 6 kilometers away. Instead,
Fuck
he found
yeah.
a bunch of blue plastic piping attached to a tap in the ground. The funny part is any scene where you see them sourcing water from some magnificent waterfall or lake, they're actually going somewhere perhaps hundreds of kilometers away and pretending to take it back.
Oh.
The video in which Photo Expression
This camera guy seems so nice. Like, he just seems like such a jolly guy. Just like actively making fun of them while still working for them. Well, that's a big I told you so moment for me there. Thank you, Sonny. I've been vindicated. In fact, I built 3 mansions already. My man. They hated him for telling the truth. Yeah, I was just ahead of my time. Like Galileo. If I had to guess, I'd say all of those fake primitive building channels are probably all owned by the same company who just outsources it to multiple channels to try and get the most juice for the squeeze, which is why you see so many like variations of the same name, like Primitive Technology Idea, Primitive Technology Life. Mr. Tifu's kind of an anomaly. That one kind of comes out of nowhere and getting real wild, but I really do think it's probably like one company that does it, which is why they're all so similar.